Before history was written, wisdom was remembered.
When the matriarch speaks, time listens.
All right, now pump smoke out there.
Alafia from number 11 of Arisha Stone. Tonight I had to bring y'all a special guest, man. Y'all already know we're gonna keep it coming. We got the Chief Pontiac, Big Rod Hayes is in the building. How you doing, God?
Peace, my brother. What's going on with you?
Man, long time no see, man. The tribe was like, yo, we need Rod in here. We need Rod on the Chief Talk, man. Man, I got a couple questions with you for the night. The tribe already showing you a lot of love, but they also sent me a lot of questions for you just to get started. So you already know, man. Just breaking news. Let's go and get right into it. How you feeling about that birthright citizenship? You've been talking about it for years, so I had to ask you about it.
Look, if they repealed birthright citizenship and then if they overturned it, that means that the only legitimate people on the land is the original tribal people. That's it. Everybody else would be considered an illegal immigrant.
I see.
Their immigration status is hinged upon birthright citizenship. They came over here to replace us, and it didn't work.
I see. I like it, Chief. You've been saying it for a while now. They ain't gotta go home, but they gotta get the hell up out of here.
I don't care where they go.
So, with that being said, with the birthright citizenship, what about the blood right citizenship? People that's trying to mingle with indigenous Americans to try to, you know what I'm saying, steal their birthright.
You can't steal your birthright like that. If you got to drop our blood and it's traceable, we could tell you what tribe you from. You still got birthrights on that tribe because you still got that blood. That's why they was trying to marry all the big mamas to the interlopers, because they was the only ones that held what they call land title rights. All of these allodial titles and stuff, that's the European system encroaching upon our system. We didn't need no paperwork. We knew where we were supposed to be because Big Mama said, y'all stay over there. That was it. It was councils of women that was our political arm. The men dealt with hunting, and they dealt with dealing with livestock, running family farms. The women dealt with politics. When the colonizers came, they didn't want to do politics with the women. That's how the men got called out to the forefront and speak for the women, because they looked down on women. The colonizers looked down on women. So all of their treaties and all of that stuff, there's none that say that we ever surrendered any land. There's plenty of them that say that they said they wouldn't expand beyond 13 colonies. They wouldn't cross the Appalachians. We got all of those records, right? But the ones who married into the families and had babies, those babies still are babies. I don't care where they, that's one of the ways you diversify blood from people that's in close proximity, breed together so long, you start having birth defects. You need outside blood to come in. And this is why I was telling you, me and Young Elder talk about this all the time. On the East Coast, the royal families of the Americas married the royal families of Africa, from all the way as far as New York, all the way down to Brazil, southern Brazil. We intermingled, traded, did business with, and married among foreign royal tribes to keep from having the issues that they came up with the Habsburgs, right? And I forgot the other one, the ones they called the hemophiliacs, right? And we never developed those because we understood genetics, right? We understood DNA. We understood how you can pass down genetic traits. We even understood it so good we used to call forth the genetic trait we want to pass down, and the elders call that marking that child. So they can mark you with an ancestor. To know which ancestor to call in, you just got to know that it's in your bloodline to call it forth.
I see. I see. And quick question. 1820 and 1821, the Liberian colonization movement. What do you have about that, Chief?
Look, that's when they created the American Colonization Society with the belief that they would transport the tribes from the land over to Africa because they was trying to already convince us we was from Africa. So problem came in. They couldn't afford it. They didn't have the economic means to transport the then probably 35 million, probably the same as now, of us across the sea. But they want us to believe that they could afford to bring all of us from Africa. But they can't afford to take us back. Economics. You gotta remember, everything that the so-called colonists was fighting about had to do with economics. It had to do with economics and trade. To this day, the government wars is all based on economics and trade. The tribe's priority is not economics and trade. It's family cohesion and the promotion of family structure, right? And everything we did, and this is why the matriarchal society is different from the patriarchal. Under the matriarchy, the women was always taught how to keep the families together, right? The only place they still teaching it is in the deep South. In the North, it's not common no more. It's rare, but it's still here. It's just not as common as it used to be when it was all over the land. We used to always have a big mama, and we would rally around basically her pot, her cauldron, when she cooking for 200-300 people. That's just a Sunday night dinner. That ain't got to do with a special event like a holiday that it might take people coming in for a whole week. And they got to constantly be feeding these people coming in for a whole week. You got this uncle, that cousin, this cousin, that auntie, and they coming in because this was like the custom. In foreign countries, they pilgrimages to sacred sites, right? But they're not telling you that the sacred site, pick one, anyone, pick one, where people make pilgrimage. Let's take Mecca because it's the most popular one. Mecca is built on a Big Mama. Before there was an Islam, Mecca was there. And it was centered around the reverence of the womb. This is why the black box is there. If you look at the black stone, that's the opening portal to the yoni. And then that means that the black square is represented as the womb. It's a mother. Pick another sacred site. Anyone.
Dome of the Rock.
The where?
The Dome of the Rock.
The Dome of the Rock, that's in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's where, at the Dome of the Rock is where they say Muhammad ascended for his night journey. Jerusalem is the worship site for Abraham's wife. But they tell you it's about Abraham. It's about Sarah. It's in her name. Her name is Sarah. Sa means birth maiden. This is represented by the symbol of the Sa. The birth maidens was the ones who was the midwives, and they was the ones who was the caretakers of the royal children. The second part of Sarah's name is Ra, meaning that she represents the solar disk. The solar disk being an essential point in this solar system, right? Because all of the so-called planets revolve around the sun. So the center sun, the Sarah, right? That becomes the birth maiden of the sun. She's the mother of the sons. The sons is what we will refer to over here like Sonny Boy. He a chief. Son. He a double head chief. He coming from both sides of the family. Right? Junebug, that's Kefir. He's not going to be chief, but he's going to be like a high lieutenant to the chief. Because he's the position of the chief right before he ascends to the skies. Right? Then all of that stuff traced back to the old culture of Atlantis that gave you all of your temple priest orders of the world, your Tibetan monks, your Himalayan monks, right? Your Babylonian priesthoods. They all are taking the earth rights. The earth rights was the priestly duties that the women was responsible to maintain the love frequency around the planet. They interrupt the women and they put those cross-dressers in there in order to alter the energy grid, alter the field. Now the energy is not the same. You don't have heaven on earth no more. Now we got something else, whatever you want to call this, that we living in. This is retarded shit.
Well, that's why we named it the Great Reset 6. Because I know for a fact we've been through at least 5 resets just through History of the Stones. So I call this one, by my count, we had the Great Reset 6 with everything, like I say, like you just said, the birthright citizenship, the land being returned to us. A lot of people are being 86th off the land, to say the least. Resources are at an all-time high right now, all sorts of different things. And the reason I brought up Liberia in 1820 is because for them to say that these people are from originally from Africa, and that Liberia wasn't even made back then. They created Liberia in 1820, but over 3,000 people refused to go to Africa way back then. They were like, "Yo, we're not African." They've been saying this. You know what I'm saying?
That's the same thing happened with the Trail of Tears. It was just in the other direction, used a different method. The same thing happened in Trail of Tears. You want to get on the Indian train? That shit ain't got nothing to do with us. You're not finna trap us on our own land and sequester us to where you want us to be so you can exploit and pillage our whole village. No, we not moving. We staying right where we at. And you got a lot of cases that they don't tell you about, or a lot of reports that they don't tell you about of us fighting back. They try to hijack the heroes from us, and then when they do that, that gives them the opportunity to make it look like that was a hero to their system. Like Bass Reeves ain't had nothing to do with America. America wasn't even over there where he was at the time. He got nothing to do with America. But they make him sound like he's an American sheriff. No, he wasn't. That was pre-Louisiana Purchase era.
Wow.
Think about it. Think about it.
You just taught me something then. I ain't gonna lie, you're right. If we're looking past the time frame of Liberia, we do gotta look past the time frame of certain states being named. You're right.
Yeah, most of before the Berlin Conference, all the current names of African countries didn't exist in those names. It was just huge provinces that was represented by tribal government. That's why 90% of South Africa is called Swaziland or Zululand. They telling you the dominant tribe that governed over the land. That don't mean they didn't have subsidiary tribes over there too. Like you had your Khoisan and your Bantus that was also there, but the land belonged to the oldest tribe in the area, which was in South Africa, the Zulu and the Swazi. Right? That's why when they tell us about Pan-Africanism and you start studying it, you start to see certain patterns stick out to you. Right? And anomalies in the story they gave us. Right? They had us under the false impression by insinuation that Africa looked like it looked today. Right? And the image that they gave us of Africa, that it was always primitive, Africa got major metropolis cities just like we did. Just like they try to pretend that New Orleans ain't ancient and LA ain't ancient and Chicago ain't ancient and New York ain't ancient. They was trying to tell us the same thing about those cities over there. The only thing is I'm just been unfortunate enough to have past life memories of doing trade with them people. So I already know that we've been trading with them for multiple lifetimes because I remember it. I don't like to tell people that because many people have shut their past life channel off by believing in religion.
I see. No, I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, me and Goddess May I were just having a conversation about that, and I got a lot of different questions from. I took some questions from a lot of different elders.
I don't care where you got it from.
Something about the Khoisan, because a lot of people are saying a lot of people in Africa, not even from Africa, they from Asia and got ran about in Asia and the Middle East way before Africa was I guess you would want to call it colonized. So that's what I was leading to, because a lot of them, they're saying they weren't even, like, Africa isn't even as old, not saying the continent, but the people being in those land places. We know Ghana, Nigeria, all these places are brand new, but in general, a lot of people weren't even there until they got ran over.
For the longest period, it was divided into Northern Africa and then Sub-Sahara Africa, right? And it's just like dividing the American North from the American South. The principle is the same. The people from South Africa, right? They are primary Khoisan. The Khoisan and the Twa are the oldest continuous living stock of what we call Homo sapiens, the little people. They're the oldest ones. The next oldest ones is the really, really, really big ones. Today, we call them Zulu, Dinka, and they live on different parts of the continent over here. Over here, we call them old Mississippians, but the historical record called them Aztecs, Incas, Mayas, and Olmecs, because they don't remember when they started recording the out of Africa philosophy, they had not allegedly discovered America yet. So in order for us to eat, most of the artifacts they found over here has been concealed. This is known. We know about the Smithsonian concealing artifacts because they got the newspaper articles from contemporary time telling you that the Smithsonian found something, and then they got the follow-up article where they retracted the findings. We know what's going on. The ones of us that really know, everybody else that think they know, well, they can speculate.
I say. Another quick question. How do you, what do you have on Pro operations in the new age?
It's no longer called COINTELPRO, and it's no longer called Readiness Exercise 1984. Right? It was changed under the Clinton crime bill. And now it's classified as domestic terrorism. All of the COINTELPRO operations now is being carried out through intelligence. Well, before the current regime, because they the ones that put the stop to it. But they was using the Domestic Terrorist Act as the final filter for COINTELPRO. But it's Readiness Exercise 1984 is still the operation manual, but they don't call the operation that now. They call it Homeland Security Anti-Terrorist Task Force. That's your COINTELPRO of the era.
I see. Another question. It's just a question, Chief. I just got to ask the question. Right now, what's going on? And the Brotherhood wants to know, how do you feel about the term FBA? And I get it. I just got to throw that out there. How do you feel about the term FBA?
I have no feelings about it, left or right. It don't got nothing to do with me. It's not my term.
Got you.
But I don't have no feelings about it. People remember, in the Indigenous Rights Act, it say you have the right to self-identify. They call themselves whatever they want to. They can call themselves a North American Martian if they want to. I don't care.
You're right.
At the end of the day, when the bloodlines when your mother's land is tracked back and they bring you your wealth, then you understand, well, wait a minute, maybe somebody was more right than somebody else. But I don't care. I don't care. You got a right to self-identify. You call yourself whatever you want to.
I see. And the reason I asked because I know Ghana was in the some kind of court recently talking about they wanted reparations, which was weird. I know I already know your stance on reparations, but you can most definitely tell me again. But they were talking about how Ghana was trying to get reparations and steal birthrights from the indigenous Americans, and the FBA kind of stood up against that. But and then, like I said, I kind of
let me point something out to you. Now, you know, I'm not a pro-African. I'm all the way for us, right? I want you to think about something. A few years back, probably about 8 to 10 years ago, the president of Ghana and the chieftains of Ghana came out and they issued for a qualified apology if they had anything or their ancestors had anything to do with the transatlantic slave trade. You don't even know nothing about that, do you?
Mm-mm.
Okay, now, one of the tenets to reparations is you have to have a political representing body. If you don't have a political representing body that's a sovereign, nobody has a means to pay you because there's no sovereign representation. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, if all of the ones over here of us who still confused keep laying claim to Africa as where we come from, somebody in Africa got to say, okay, how best do we help them lost souls find themselves? Right? Now, in the midst of them going to bat for the ones that think you can't be free over here to Africa free, they speak up on your behalf. They can't keep no reparation money over there because it's for the descendants that's over here. But you can't get it if you don't have a foreign representative body. Now, the trick to reparations is this. You forego your birthright to the Americas when you accept the African reparations because you accepting the African as your ancestral bloodline. And as soon as you do that, if you had heritable rights over here, when you accepted the payout for the reparations, you said that's the payout over here don't got nothing to do with me. My people from Africa. So you hedging your bets. And now the question is only, are you going to take the $1 million check or are you going to go for your birthright and you don't know what come with it? Right? You don't know what come with your birthright, but you know it's yours from your ancestral land. Are you going to take the $1 million check or are you going to take your birthright? I don't want no check. I want my birthright.
I see.
I got enough sense to know the mentality of the bloodline I come from. And if they think any way near some of the stuff that I be thinking about how to benefit the collective, then I want my birthright because my birthright allowed me to take care of all of the tribes. Period. That's it. My birthright would allow me, if I don't want reparations, I want my birthright. If I get my birthright back, they won't have nothing to pay me reparations with because everything they got gonna already come to me as part of my birthright because everything they have, they stole from out of my bank, out of my coffers, right? So I want my birthright back. That's going to bankrupt them. So when it comes time for the ones that settle for the reparations, they going to be over there looking at an empty box talking about where my $1 million are supposed to be in this box. They couldn't afford to pay you because the first right on the redemption is to the natural born heirs. The natural born heirs have the first bite at the pie. And once they get their compensation, if it's anything left, then they could worry about who's second in line. A reparations claim would be second in line or third behind a birthright claim, right? Second in line would be a tribal right claim. The biggest one would be your direct bloodline's birthright. The second bigger one would be your tribal rights. Your tribal rights to give you territory and property and means to produce for your family. That's tribal rights. The individual's wealth is your birthright. What your grandfather had that he couldn't access because nobody knew how to get over this corporation that was blocking us because we had to play a fifth dimensional chess game, a game for masterminds where you have to master your mind to play. It's a board game because you got to be willing to be bored to play it. That means you got to idle the man. But they say the idle man is the devil's workshop. Who is the devil? The devil is the enemy. So I got to idle my man in order to face the enemy. Now I'm outwitting the devil. Ask Napoleon Hill. If long as the devil is working on your mind at his idle, you have a battlefield where you can fight him from. Battlefield of the mind, Joyce Myers. It's all connected. We just pawns in the game. That's a book, by the way.
I say.
Right? We've been sitting around waiting on the pale horse, and that motherfucker rolled right past us. But we didn't know that he was an Obama. You remember the beast that took Muhammad on the night journey? You remember what his name was called? Baruch. Baruch.
You're right.
Baruch is Barak. He's the beast. What they call him, the Antichrist, meaning that he was the ruler that tried to rule outside of his rulership time. That's a whole nother story, though.
No, hey, you brought it up, G. We're gonna talk about that DNA edits in a minute. We got a couple good questions though. I don't want to get too far away from those. One person just said, give me 1 second. The guy that said, do you think they really going to the moon, or is it another fake lift off like the first one?
Only way they going to the moon is while you watching that movie in the movie theater. You gonna fly to that camera, right? Because it's just the lens. It's the lens that's projecting our reality in this holographic universe. Ask Michael Talbot. Some of them will realize when I'm dropping them references, and they'll know how to look them up.
I see. We most definitely gonna run it back and do the research. I always do. The guy that said my DNA says Mesoamerican, Sub-Saharan African. So why can't both be applied or applicable? Many of us have ancestors from both walks of life. How you feel about that?
Because one is what you call father line birthright, which is reparations, and the other one is heritable birthright, which is rightful heir. Father line birthright is secondary. So if you accept the fatherland payout as your primary, then you have to give up your primary. It's a trick. It's a sleight of hand. Because we not from Africa. Like I say, we've amalgamated with Africans for thousands of years. Half of the tribes in West Coast Africa came from over here, according to their own oral tradition. It might be more than that. That just might be the ones that we had somebody go over there and record where they said they came from. Don't believe me, Google it.
No, that's why I brought up 1820. They shipped a bunch of people to Liberia and Haiti. I just realized that they were shipping people to Haiti.
They did the same thing in South America to Guyana. They had a Guyana movement where they had sent a lot of North American tribes to Guyana. Down there where by Honduras, close to where Sabi went. You remember where Jim Jones went?
Yeah, I kind of loosely.
That's the only reason why somebody from America would study Guyana. And that's the only way that we would come to the conclusion or the understanding that why are they shipping North Americans to Guyana? Then you would say, well, wait a minute. They telling us about a transatlantic slave trade. What about a trans-Gulf trade? Going through the islands from North to South America, what they would call an intra-American slave trade. And when you look that shit up, you find it's more real than the African slave trade.
Thanks.
right? It's not that we don't have any contact with Africans. We're talking about heritable birthrights. They can have their reparations. I don't care about that. That don't got nothing to do with me. Let them fight for their reparations if they want reparations. Everybody got to fight the fight they see in front of them. If they don't see nothing but the fight for reparations, that we got to quantify, Dr. Richard Randall, the debt, what America owe Black America, so we know the dollar amount that they asking for, or they could multiply it by 10 and be closer to the truth. Then we have the historical mapping of the labor through Black labor, white wealth, Dr. Claude Anderson, and the understanding of the need for economic security. Then we got the blueprint for Black power from Dr. Amos Wilson, so that we can put all of these different factions of our community to work together as opposed to everybody trying to fight separate. So we got the blueprint, but a lot of the stuff that they telling us, we don't have the will to continue to fight in that manner. See, people think they want bloody war. You don't want bloody war. I'm all with bloody war if it's necessary. But when it's not necessary, it's necessary not to engage in it. This is all strategy. This is all strategy. That's why it became a chess game, because it's only dealing with the strategy of a certain jurisdictional claim on your birthright. You need people fighting for reparations so you'll know the difference between reparations and birthright. You need people fighting Pan-African, because learning the Pan-African confraternity is going to show you what took place in Africa took place over here in the Americas, right? You need the Bang Dong Conference, where you can draw all of the melanated people from around the world together to fight against this thing called white supremacy. That's the culmination of the confraternity that Garvey was working on. Right? We don't know all this stuff. We sitting here looking at this stuff, but we don't know what we're looking at because nobody's pointing the finger and saying, look, man, this is what we've been doing the whole time. They ain't just been kicking our ass like they would have us believe. It's just that they own the police. And the police is a foreign military. If they wasn't a foreign military, they would be policing us like they do in London with batons. They don't police us like that because we gonna beat their ass. It's a whole nother animal. We the tribes of this land. You can paint it how you want to. You can put it whatever suit you want to put on it. You can paint it Pan-African. You can paint it foundationally Black American. You can paint whatever you want to. The ones from this land know who we are. We Mississippi clay dirt walking. We know who the hell we are and why we here. And we know what we doing when we following the oral tradition and asserting our territorial rights to overthrow the admiralty claim of jurisdiction over us in order to dismantle this foreign military occupying force. And 98% of what they call crime is poverty driven. That shit fade away when ain't nobody starving no more. People's stomach ain't touching their back. It fade away. We don't need no police then. Now it's not about crime don't exist no more. Right? People want to be drug addicts, make them a drug addict community to go to. Let them go over there and, do what they want to do, but don't bring that shit around these babies. And when we learn that we got to protect the youth and that we have to circle the women that protect the youth and give them extra support, we start seeing the difference in what's happening and what we need to happen, right? I didn't just pick up on the matriarchy because it's the rule by women. It's not ruled solely by women. Women form political councils in geographical locations under the matriarchy to solve problems that affect children. Most of them have to be a mother that's seasoned in order to call herself a matriarch. She got to understand child psychology. She can't be raising children that's a psychological crash out because he ain't got his daddy there. It's more of us that was raised, even if daddy was there, we were still raised by mama. than it is the ones of us that was just raised by daddy, even if mama was there. The fathers became more involved in the house when they seen the house falling apart while we was on the battlefield fighting a war. Now we got to come back home and find a new way to nurture the family back together, because now the women is starting to take on the protector role. That means the men are turning into some BANs.
You there, Chief?
Yeah.
Actually, press the wrong button. And I appreciate you saying that when you said about war, because that was some of this question as well. They were like, we fight against each other all day, every day. I'm talking about we be putting in work on each other. And we act like we scared to go put in work on everybody else. I saw one dude, he was shooting a video of some Khazarians having a field day out there, right? And he complaining. But the funny thing about it is, in New York, they shoot each other up all day. But when it comes to the real opposition, y'all just want to shoot videos. So I most definitely feel you on there. The goddess asked, why? Hold on. Why is it when a spiritual person receives knowledge and power, they sometimes turn into manipulation?
They wasn't in there for spiritual purposes.
That part.
Look, you can get spiritual knowledge, but it don't mean your heart in the right place. Your heart got to be in the right place before you get the knowledge. If there's any crack in your character and you can be led by something, best believe the opposition gonna give you what is required for them to stay in control. And that's how what a lot of the spiritual leaders, it don't always be the leader. Sometimes it be his second in command, third in command down the line that's trying to get rich in the background that's caused the leader to fall. It's not always the leader, but a lot of people that get this knowledge become so selfish because they get frustrated with people that's crashing out on foolishness when you trying to teach them how to stand up and be upright. They would prefer the foolishness. Like right now, we have men-women conversations about marriage. Ain't nobody having very many conversations about successfully parenting the next generation. We too busy worried about whole culture.
My bad, I'm on mute. It says, what are the chief's thoughts on the spiritual aspect of strategic brain banging to achieve objectives?
Look, when we say brain banging, that means thinking your way through a problem and understanding the application of a process. Most of us is addicted to fast food, microwave culture. We want instant gratification. If you got to put the metal to the grind and make your axe, you're going to starve. If you can't go to Walmart and buy your axe and you got to put the metal to the grind and build your axe, you're going to starve. If your axe is dependent upon you eating. You got to know process. You got to understand methods that's being used against you so you'll even know what you're fighting against. Most of us don't study the poisons that they put in the food under the pretense of preservation chemicals. We don't study that stuff. We just go to McDonald's, Burger King, wherever, and just grab us a burger and keep it moving, and we're not understanding the process of making enough food to feed the amount of people these places feed. We don't understand the mechanics of it. So we can't protect ourselves for any breaches that's in the community, in the land from where it's produced to where we eat it at. Can't protect yourself. You don't know what's in it. You don't know what's going on. And nor do we care. Oh, generally speaking, most of us don't care. The average person that you can go to walk to a McDonald's drive-thru and you say, hey, you know that they found some human DNA in them burgers. Well, for real? They're going to take their bag, pay their bill, and get the roll and eat that sandwich. They don't believe it. Even though it's true, they don't believe it. Even though it's been reported by the people who's supposed to report it, they still don't believe it because they still eating it. And the only way they would still be eating it is they can't believe it's true.
I'll say. Somebody had a real good question, Chief. They said, Are you aware of any templates to post similar to the birth certificate public notices, which have been posted for the police departments? Or should we create a document from various informational videos you have put out? And do you have to be a recognized tribal member to make such public notice postings?
No, they know who we are.
Mm.
So any public notice that you post in your sovereign capacity as a member of the tribes of the land is still notice to agent, notice to principal. I'm not the only one that could do it. You write your own material. Put your own, you can have your own grievances. Your grievance might not be same as me. I might be fighting for children and women. You might be fighting for dogs and farm animals. We still need both fights fought, right? So in the oral tradition, the reason why you're putting something in the public domain is to allow all other tribal members that's similarly situated to have access to what you put out in order for them to determine if they can use it for their benefit, for educational purposes or applicational purposes. It don't matter, long as they can benefit from it. When I go through reading the codes and stuff like that, that's because that's the stuff they don't want you to know. So I dig into the codes and I dig into the political maneuverings that they doing to show you what they telling you by not saying it, but by doing it. They don't do everything they say, and they don't say everything they're gonna do. But everything they do has a purpose, and sometimes deductive reasoning has to come in play. If he did this and said this, the only way that he would say this and do this is it mean this. It got to have a meaning. And sometimes you have to use your deductive reasoning, your abstract reasoning to say, if they did this and they did that, like for instance, the Q Drop's been saying since they first started, we saving Israel for last. But there's nowhere in there did they say how Israel was going to be annihilated or taken down. It doesn't say. All of a sudden, after Trump saying to Israel repeatedly, no, we're not going in Iran. No, we're not going in Iran. No, we're not going in Iran. Okay, I'm going to bomb them a little bit and then we're going to come out. Oh, you want to go back in there? We're not going back in there. Leave them people alone. Oh, you sure you want to go in there? And then when they finally say, okay, let's go, since you want to take your bad ass in there, let's go. We too far for them to reach. You live next door. If you want to fight that dumbass fight, you fight it. I'm going to come help you. I'm only going to help you, but I can't stop them from doing what they're going to do to you because they next door to you. The neighbor can get to you before I can get there to get you back up. So now, yeah, we leveled Iran and they leveled Israel.
I ain't mad at that, Chief. Sounds like a win-win to me.
It sounds like turnabout fair play. That's all it sounds like to me.
They can go ahead and for all I care. Somebody else asked, what are the primary steps to ensure one's tribal sovereignty?
Avoid paperwork with the system. If you do paperwork, the paperwork is for you within your own tribal structure. Your tribal structure is rooted in your family's structure. All tribes don't believe the same thing. And for us to want everybody to believe what we believe is asinine. We not supposed to always believe the same thing all the time. Right? I can say something that somebody disagree with, and I could be 100% wrong or I could be 100% right. And either way, they still got a right to disagree with me.
I see.
Right? So sometimes I'll say something just to see how they're going to disagree. You can tell when you go to my post, if I put up something Moorish and you read the comments, you could tell the difference between the dirty Moor and the righteous Moor.
That's a real thing.
I'm gonna show you why you could easily see the difference just by going through the comments. In the comments, the righteous Moor is going to present their evidence. And then they say, well, what about this? The dirty Moor, oh, you the worst kind of, you be lying, right? Attack. No evidence produced. They want you to produce all the evidence, and all you did was just made a statement. The statement don't have to be true for you to make it, but it will elicit the truth to come out if you pay attention to the commentary. So sometimes the teacher had to ask a ubiquitous question to get the class to start offering up the answer, because you won't know they paying attention if you don't.
I'll say. I'm trying to get these questions out. There's so many of them. Are there any actions that can be taken to assist the tribal mothers in the full redemption of our birthright?
Right now, everybody needs to be focusing on how do I unify everybody family is fractured, right? All of us got fractured families. And the one that can be the glue to start bringing the family back together is going to be the anchor. That's going to be the point person for the family. Because we have to bring them back together. It has to come back together. Their goal was to tear them apart. We have to bring them back together. Now, if we focus on that, everything else will happen by reaching critical mass of awareness. When we get to, we'll become more proficient and effective the more of us become aware of what's actually taking place. We'll just start automatically knowing this part not being done, and I know how to do it. Let me do it. And this is why they say they can't elect you chief. You're not elected chief. You community tested to be chief. They put your ass through the ringer, through the fire to be a chief. Family got to identify you as he gonna be the point man for this family. He the one right here. This the one we gonna put on the front line and fight on our behalf. Now, this one got to go out with all of the other ones just like him that they family didn't pick. And they have to figure out how to fight this war the way that they could see it. Right? And we start this as a child when we form our little friend groups. Right? Those are early stages of development of future tribal councils. If one of the ones can elicit enough loyalty to keep this band of brothers together into adulthood, they'll be able to make critical changes in the community. But if you bring them together and they stay cohesive in adulthood only until some money come on the board, they're not going to last long. They're going to end up fighting each other.
Yo, that goes to the next question. You just answered a lot of questions. That's why one of the guys just said, why do we always fall out with each other? But that just explained it. They weren't really in it for the right reasons.
Well, not necessarily, because you got to remember the fight for power is an ongoing struggle. And if you got two people that's equally qualified for the same position, they gonna bump heads until one of them is more qualified in the position than the other. That's nature. That's just nature, right? Well, that's why in order to be the alpha of a wolf pack, you got to take down the alpha. He ain't gonna just let you take his spot, though. He ain't gonna just lay down because you his puppy and say, okay, I'm old now, you can be the alpha. No, I need to know my son can hold his position. If he gonna be the alpha, he gonna have to take this spot from me or my little brother, because sometimes it be the little brother, right? And then sometimes it be the Zeta wolf, the lone wolf that go around finding other lone wolves to form his pack. Right? So it's the same thing with people. We pack animals too. If you don't know how pack animals operate in hierarchy, you will never understand our struggles. When you got two strong-willed brothers, there's opportunity to clash. If they're not leading with love, it's a good chance they're going to bump heads. Somewhere they're going to run into a difference of opinion because they're both strong-willed individuals that can cause them to fall out with each other. It's just nature. It's just been exploited and weaponized against us, and the infiltrators use it to their advantage. because they know that we more likely to follow what follows nature than we is to follow what they write in their law books. And that's how they trick the outlaw tribes.
I'll say. Somebody asked a great question. They say, what about the new currency that's coming into play?
It's an interim currency. I talked about that last night on Brother Rich about the Trump notes.
Gotcha.
And the Federal Reserve is gone.
Yeah. This is the great reset. Also, man, I remember about 6, 7 months ago, maybe about 8 months ago, Trump kept on talking about the gold in Fort Knox, and we never heard nothing else about that.
Because it wasn't. They never told y'all, but it ain't nothing there. It ain't been no gold in Fort Knox since 1933. Under I think it was Roosevelt. Remember when they took us off the gold standard, they just started printing money. It wasn't backed by nothing. That's what that's fractional reserve banking, because you're gonna need a double outlet. Inflation is going to make the dollar still seem valuable, and taxation is going to keep you from ever having enough to outpace inflation. They use them hand in hand. That's why the chairman of the Federal Reserve is always adjusting the interest rate on the notes. All the time they've been borrowing from us. They've been borrowing against our asset. They can't have our asset. They can only borrow against it. That's how you know we going back to Big Mama Bank, because now they finna start selling American oil. They used to only stockpile it for the military. It wasn't open market production. That's why the gas prices are still high.
That's the only thing high right now. All the metals going down, gas going up. Somebody, can I know? I already know the answer to this. You said we don't never know the exact time, but somebody said, I think what the people are asking is, when will they start this dispensary our ancestral wealth in weight, gold, silver back to us?
Look, it ain't gonna be no secret. It had to be publicly announced by one of these top flight government officials. And I'm believing it's going to be Trump, because he's been doing all the heavy lifting for these announcements. But it had to be announced. They had to call the tribal mothers back to Philadelphia to hand it all back. They have a list of names who they going to call, because they just can't call any tribal mother. They got to call the ones that's been doing the work. And they know who they all are, because they've been doing the work and made their name pop up in their intelligence circles. And they never stop following them anyway.
I see. Somebody asked, what are your thoughts on crypto coin currency the people should know? Me personally, I don't mess with crypto like that, but how you feel about it, Chief?
Well, it's currency going digital. Ain't no way around it. Currency has to go digital. And that's part of the next phase of human evolution. But at the same time, it has to still be backed by substance. You can't have more in circulation than you have on reserve. That's the difference. Under the fiat system, you can put out more than you got on reserve by fractional reserve banking. But under the gold standard, you can't put into circulation more than what you have on reserve.
I'll say. Somebody asked another good question. Should I withdraw my Social Security benefits early with a penalty, or is it safe?
Look, the people that's signed up for Social Security, they only gonna need it for a couple of years when the switch happens. right? That's because they up in age and they probably not gonna be able to, follow through with their paperwork and stuff like that without somebody helping them. So the Social Security benefit will run past the shift for a period of time. But it's going to also be a period of time where you're not going to need that. It's not going to be necessary. Most of us are already naturally wealthy, right? But they couldn't make us perform the production output that they needed to meet their quota of what they was trying to accomplish. You got to go back to the Sumerian tablets. When they created Lulu Amalu, they called them the primitive worker. They created them because the ones from Nibiru didn't want to do the work no more. So this is what made you have what's called the Earth Rebellion. The Earth Rebellion happened prior to the Nibiru Rebellion, right? So we have all these things going on, but they happen in over thousands of years. But in history books, it looked like it was just incident after incident, right? But the Lulu Amalu job was to work until the quota of gold was met that was needed to sustain Nibiru. The quota didn't been exceeded, which gave us all of the remaining wealth. We have what we call pharaoh money. You talking about old money, new money. We got pharaoh money. We got ancient antiquity money. Our wealth is the standard, right? All our opulence and luxury of ancient days is the cravings that we have that make us floss today. We have a subconscious memory of when we was wealthy, so we ain't understanding this poverty shit. But nobody's trying to figure out the solution. We still trying to live in the luxury in the middle of the poverty.
I see. I got a couple more good questions, Chief. Before anything else, man, let me throw Chief a cash app up here, man. You be always showing love to everybody else, man. If y'all can please show some love to Chief. Let me put it, see. I put your cash app up already once. There you go. Man, support the Chief. He answering a whole lot of questions. Also, Brother Dustin asked a great question. He asked about our part in the cleanup that we would need to prepare for. What do we need to do to rebuild, and what are the mineral materials that we would be using going to be, since we are doing away with a lot of the old materials?
Right. So a lot of the old stuff is like the cheap lumber, particle board they use in the build houses. That's the stuff we're getting away from. But as we move in, a lot of that stuff is already waiting for us to make the switch. A lot of the stuff we're looking for what we gonna need, it's already there. They know all of this stuff already. It's already set up. The only thing we got to do is get to critical mass and understand what's happening, and at that point, everything shifts.
Oh man, my brother asked a dope question. He said, can tribes create their own digital currency? That's a dope one.
Yeah. If you understand how digital currency can count the asset in real time, right? That's what the quantum encryption is. It's the actual counting of the currency as you're using the digital currency. It's still, long as it doesn't exceed what you have on reserve, because we go into family banking anyway. And your family bank will have its own opportunity to either use a pre-established currency or to create their own from their bank. This is why when you look on a quarter, one of them might be printed in Philadelphia, another one might be printed in DC, another one might be printed in Idaho some damn where. It's the same thing. They got 13 central banks that print coin.
I'll say. Man, I appreciate you, guys, because we be saying the same thing. I know you've been saying the same thing over and over and over again. We've been saying it, but sometimes it's just, you know what I'm saying, the ears is ready when they ready. Did the
You know,
culture,
repetition is the prelude to learn.
I'll say, they capture the magna matter possibly confined in the moon. You can see that, Chief?
Barely.
We're going to prepare to release her. Did the enemy capture the magna
Mag-
matter? Huh?
Magna Mater means great mother.
Got you.
No, she ain't captured. She Red Bird still walking around. She ain't captured. Artemis has nothing. All that was staged. It was a theatrical performance. All you gotta do is go to TikTok. Somebody done dissected that shit already. I guarantee it. Somebody that showed you all of the reasons why it ain't real. Most everything that we see right now, it's AI on TV. Most of the stuff we're seeing on television is AI. From presidential press conferences to bombs falling overseas, about 80% of everything we seeing on regular television is AI. It's AI manufactured. It's not real. They just controlling the narrative. They trying to hold on to their last little sip of power, and it ain't even another drop in the cup, and they got it up with their tongue out trying to get another little sip of power. It's over with for them.
Somebody keeps asking about Canada. They say Mohawk, Chippewa, here from Amsterdam, Canada. What's going to happen to Canada?
Canada, all of this is going to be one from Canada all the way to the bottom of South America. It's going to be one country, one collection of tribal confederacies. The tribal confederacies is only about getting resources to people. There's no need for government if the government is not figuring out how to get resources to people. Right? Under the old ways, all of the resources was on reserve for a certain group of people. Right? That's not how it worked. Tribally, all these lines of demarcation when everything's flipped has to change.
I see.
They wasn't always here. They have to go. When you are colonized, you are divided up in territorial, regimented military format. The provinces of Canada are military provinces. They not from the people of the land. This got the same QSIP number that the United States have. Canada and the United States QSIP number is the exact same QSIP number. That means that the people that's financing the exploitation of Canada is the same people that's financing the exploitation of America. Them the same people that have been financing the exploitation of all of the islands in Central America, which is the same people that's been sucking the life out of South America. And the list goes on and on. The Samoan Islands, the Tongan Islands, the Hawaiian Islands, New Zealand, Australia, right? And it's the same people with the same military regimentation. And this is how you know that the war continues, because when you win the war, no matter what side it is, the war territories names have to change. As long as you're in the war, the military zones remains the same name. The first thing you have to start doing when you are winning the war, you know you got the war won, you have to start renaming shit. And this is where you get the Gulf of Mexico, now the Gulf of America. Washington, D.C. is now the military district of Washington. That's victory. But if you don't know who's doing what to win the war, you won't know who winning until it's over.
That part. That's why
You won't know who win until it's over.
they be asking these crazy questions a little bit, and they be like, "Yo, what should we be doing as grown men?" Yo, it says, "In short, brother, what should we do as individuals, act on to prepare for what's to come?" And like I said, we said it 1,000 times before. You should be doing what a man's supposed to be doing anyway. Food, water, have food, water put up. Go ahead and start collecting you some silver and gold, because I'm of the belief I don't believe anybody gonna give me nothing. I'm gonna go get my own, and then whatever they give me, that's gonna be the icing on the cake. But if you waiting for anybody to do it for you, you already lost, man. Like you just said, if you ain't already properly prepared, proper preparation prevents poor performance. Somebody's asking about student loans. Oh man, they should be paying student loans.
That's based up. They violated your right when they gave you a loan to get your education. Education is a right; it's not a privilege. You only pay for privileges.
Yeah.
You need to be suing the credit company if you got a student loan that's for fraudulently issuing you a loan for something that's supposed to be free. That's fraud. Education is a right; it's not a privilege. Can't be regulated.
Yeah, absolutely right, Chief. Like I say, for some people, do peace chiefs come in times of war? That's a good one.
That's a good question, but they actually do, because the peace chief is the one responsible to negotiate the conclusion to the war, right? And so when you even if you read through history, they're calling the red chief, blue chief. They're calling the white feather chief. That's a peace chief. Sometimes the blue one is the war chief. Sometimes the red one the war chief. You know by their name. A qualified war chief is fighting the war in their area of expertise. You need the peace chief to declare the war over with and to declare the peace. And they normally do it like me and Empress Redbird did, with a peace chief telling the war chief, which was me, that we want to end the war. And then I got to tell her everything I know about the conclusion. How do we end the war? Right? Because now as a war chief, that means that I got a set of skills that all of the tribes can benefit from. I have to apply my skills equally for all tribes. And when I do that, that gives me the ability as a war chief to explain the strategy to the peace chief on there's only one way out of this from where we at. Right. So yes, you have peace chiefs that come in the time of war in order to negotiate and establish peace.
I say, I wouldn't know about the whole peace treaty thing. My whole thing is fucking up their system. Like you said, fuck them up. Any chance we can fuck them up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't paying them nothing, but I ain't even paying their ass no attention. Like I said, the biggest thing for me to destroy their system, collect all the gold and silver, especially silver, because that's what they're using for all their bombs and their technology. They can't do too much without it. Collect all the silver you can collect. Like somebody said something about the trust, most definitely get into the trust. But I think we worry about way too much about peace, and we ain't got our lick back yet. They done did a whole lot of stuff. We ain't got our lick back yet. So
we just didn't know we ain't get our lick back. We got it. We've been getting licks in the whole time.
I say, most definitely winning.
We wasn't getting bullied. It looked like we was getting bullied. We wasn't getting bullied. Believe that. We wasn't getting bullied. It's just that we had to fall back for a minute using the retreat strategy in order to formulate a new tactic.
Yes, sir. The goddess Ojayemi said, why are so many spiritual beings involved in the distractions of the world? If we're spiritual, why are we so distracted? Or why are we so easily distracted?
Because that's what we came here for.
Mm.
We came here to experience Earth. We came here to experience this world. You can't experience it, and some part of it you're not encapsulated, infatuated with. You're not emotionally connected to. That means you're not connected to the life. Right? We came here to have these experiences. Some of us came here to be a goddamn idiot. I'm serious. Right? You got pauper gods. They know all of their powers to do and manipulate this reality, but rather than participate in the games that's being played, they'll sit behind the liquor store and live in a cardboard box before they play these games. Well, what games you talk about, Rod? Politics, government, money game, the games. We all playing games every day, but we don't know the rules to none of the games we playing. And that's why we keep getting our ass kicked.
I don't know. I say. Yeah, man. Please, if y'all got it, man, please look out on the Chief. Let me put his cash up one more time. There we go.
Yeah, you came here to have a profound experience that your life is a fulfillment of. Right? When the story that your book of life tells, right? That's your magnum opus, your great work. And once you paint the tapestry of what your life entails, you leave, you graduate.
What can be done to stop the orange hair guy from controlling? What does that Greenland ain't got nothing to do? Let them take Greenland. That means they shipping all.
Hold on. Read the question.
They say, what can be done to stop the orange hair guy from controlling Greenland? The crowd, I guess he meant the crown chakra, since we are directly connected to it. It also the stealing of our oil.
So first things first, Greenland part of the Americas. That's the first thing you got to understand. The second thing you got to understand is all of the Americas was reclaimed by the tribes. Not half, not some, all. That's the second thing you got to understand. In order for us to be aware of what's happening, they use the compelling spectacle in the public in order to give us a heads up about our progress. Greenland part of Americas and Americas reclaimed by the American originals, then he have to some kind of way let the world know we back for everything they owe and we ain't bullshit. Right? That's the first thing. What was the rest of the question? Put the question back up there. I ain't done with that question yet. The next thing is controlling. The orange hair man don't control jack shit.
That part.
He is a mouthpiece, a front man that expresses the will of the ones that asked him to run for president. He became a spokesperson. They call them QAnons. They call them the white hat generals, right? But they are under a central command as well. And if they put American oil on the open market, the dividend checks have to come back to the tribes.
I see.
They can't take our oil without our permission. And the only way they got our permission is they've been using it for military purposes primarily. It's the only use they've had that's treaty rights for any other wealth of the land. The rest of it, they can borrow against it. They just can't own it. Now that the Federal Reserve gone, they can't have anybody to lend them anything against the asset. So that means that the holders of the asset now have to be brought out to play because the holders of the asset is the only ones that can approve the trade of the product. And this is the Tribal Council of Mothers.
Sure.
Right? And they gonna call them, they all been doing a different work in a different area.
I see.
They've been doing it their whole life, and now we don't know, most of us don't know who these women are. that's been doing they work to bring the tribes back under on our own autonomy, our self-control, without the enemy telling us and dictating anything to us. Right? So now, as they move to the distribution of what's ours, they can't sell nothing to ours without our permission.
I see.
If they do, their ass going to Gitmo. They was borrowing against it. None of they can't borrow against it. All of their lenders have been stretched.
I ain't gonna lie to you, Chief. I never even thought about Greenland being the head of Turtle Island until somebody just said it. Because I was so happy that I thought he was buying Greenland and ship all the 60th and the Europeans over there. So you know, I'm glad they get them from over here. When you say that birthright citizenship, send them anywhere but here. We gotta say it pretty sure.
I ain't even worried about the illusionary people. I'm worrying about the real ones. The power brokers that was hiding, sitting next to us talking about kill Whitey, and he the one telling Whitey what to do.
Right, that part.
Them the ones I want.
Yeah, this was I could think a good question. What about all the children who don't know their bloodline, adopted, foster care, etc.?
Even though they went through adoption and foster care, they still had a record.
I see.
They still know who them kids is. They know where they came from. They would have them stolen from tribal people anyway. Under some child protective services bullshit.
I'm not sure. Somebody's asking about Germany. What advice would one provide for ones who are being gang stalked? German, I can't pronounce that word. It's a German word.
Zersitung. Look, if you being gang stalked, it ain't shit you can do about it. So say fuck it. If you can't do nothing about it, don't worry about it.
Or do something about it.
If you could do something about it, you would have did something about it.
Yeah. I guess I react on
sometimes look, gang stalking is one of them things, the way that it's done, you can't prove it. But the person that's being gang stalking he's feeling the intimidators all the time. But he can't prove it. Because the way that it's done, it's designed that way. They got that from CIA files. They learned that from espionage.
Yeah.
They want to put pressure on people, gang stalk them. And then here go the kicker. The gang stalkers don't even know each other. Some of them think they gang stalking your gang stalker just to make their presence felt around you. Let that sink in. They done told them, follow this dude, but this dude is following you. Right? Now he looking at this dude some kind of way, this dude looking at you some kind of way. But then they got some people over here just watching all y'all to see how the way that it's set up, you can't prove it. But it's there. It's just done. It's been being used for thousands of years.
Man, I get so mad at our people when we don't fight back. We got so many people enslaved right now in 2026, or if you want to call them our people in Africa and everything else.
Okay, you got to tell you.
They ain't got to fight back in them.
We always fought back. We got to remember our enemy really look like us. They in our neighborhoods. Think about this for a minute. Is it really what they telling us, or is the war fought in our communities against the ones that look like us versus us? And then they got the referees on the outside looking in. They don't want us as part of their shit because they know that we supposed to fight this war out among ourselves. So they report on the black on black violence, but they don't never report on the white on white violence.
That part.
They never report on the brown on brown violence. What's going on? Is they telling us something? Everybody keep thinking we ain't fighting back and we only fighting each other. But the war, we keep losing because somebody look like us keep sabotaging us. So are we really fighting each other, or are we two groups of different people that look similar fighting each other in the street?
That's the real now, Chief. That's a whole other question. I didn't want to bring up the community thing, but there's a whole lot of weird stuff going on in the community. Like our people want to be stuck on stupid, but are they our people? Somebody just said, are we the alien forces controlling the current faction to give us our stuff back?
No, we Earthborn is telling them, we not asking them that they about to give our shit back, whether they want to or not. It's just that most of us been indoctrinated with religion that we looking for somebody to come from the stars to help us deal with Earth matters. And this is why we fight for the matriarchy, because if you put Earth in the Earth order, it run the way Earth's supposed to run, and then you have heaven on Earth. Then you got heaven on Earth. Then you don't need no gods no more.
I see. And also, I want to go back a couple paragraphs when you said a lot of people aren't familiar with the matriarchs because they're not on social media or whatnot. So, did you want to give any matriarchs any particular shout out so they can tap in with?
Some of my favorites is Baena Bello,
Yes.
Haitian historian. Louisa Thais, she's from the South. She's a historian of Vadum. That's someone that I used to listen to understand Oshun and Yemiya and stuff like that. Then you have like Goddess Glow Up, Heidi Barber. Remember her? She do empowerment programs for the sisters, and she's been doing it for years. I think she got a program coming up too, by the way. But the Goddess Glow Up. And then we see what Chief Warhorse doing down there, working in Timothy Parish, getting her museum set up for her. Yeah, so, because I told her, they gonna have to give it all back. Are we gonna be prepared to receive it?
That part.
It's from what she tell me, she want all her shit. She can figure it out when she get it.
Big shout out to that part.
She want everything that's hers and the belong to her family. And I think she right.
I see.
Right. Then we know my big mama, Empress Redbird. Right. She got a ceremony coming up. I think it's going to be on her YouTube Sunday, but I'm not sure. It's a ceremonial rebirthing of the tribes under the matriarch as one tribal confederacy. Right. And we use the Mississippian culture of theatrics in order to exaggerate a point. So you attach theatrics to it to exaggerate the point to get it across to the people that ain't fast as others. If they understand the basis of the concept, then the exaggeration is almost ceremonial at that point.
And we just eat it up, a lot of non-playable characters. Big shout out to Goddess Mayat as well from Melanated Immortals community. Big shout out to OJ Yemi as well, and the Council of Khalifa as well. Big shout out to Mama Kali as well. Sister Mara Moss. There's a lot of the matriarchs. If you can tap into any one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Don't forget Dr. G, Dr. Kia.
Dr. Kia. Oh, how did I forget? I'm sorry. My apologies, Dr. Kia. Mama, Dr. Kia Pruitt. Most definitely tap in with that goddess. It's so many of these goddesses out here putting out good information. Are we going to take heed? You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to the elders of the night. Chief.
Remember Mama Callie Stitching?
I see.
Right. So it's a lot of them out there. Farrakhan wife of Big Mama on the land.
Most definitely.
and she got all of those matriarchs under her immediate call. That's a lot of mothers under her. Think about what I'm telling you. If you're looking at the flow of the energy under Mother Khadijah, there's a lot of mothers, even that's not part of the nation, that supports her.
My bad about that.
Right. So when you had that many of us, of mothers from our community under one matriarch, that's how she gets her power from. That's who empower her. The ones that support her. The power comes from the bottom to the top. It's like, remember when you get done winning your game and everybody holding up the guy that scored the winning shot, they tossing them up in the air. That's how you do it. The most support you get from the bottom to hold you up. That's how your position is held solid. So if you're talking about a matriarchy, right, I can't think of too many mothers that have more mothers as her direct support system. Let that sink in.
That part. The brother said earlier, we got to start tapping into that matriarch energy or that earth energy or that juju. Like, look, we'll win the war. We're not going to win it physically. We need them goddesses on our side like they did in all those islands and everything else. They had the women doing the juju for them.
Hey, look, we talk about divine order, right? And the Christian dogma tell you that the divine order is God, Father, wife, right? And then children. That's what they tell you, a divine order, ain't it?
Yep.
But they also tell you that a man can identify as a woman and go in a woman's bathroom. Same people, same philosophy. If you understand heredity and you know that the only unbreakable line of parental descent comes through the motherline, that's how families hold wealth. The matriarchy is the solidification of women that seasoned in raising families, now using those same principles they learn raising their families in order to nurture the community. I don't understand what she's saying. Any Canadian
in matriarchs in Canada, and I would like to say maybe it's you. Maybe you the matriarch in Canada.
Could be, but you'll know the ones who do the community work. Then you got like Queen Diallo, right? You remember Sipico was in Canada that put the Pope on notice that made him write to repudiate the Discovery Doctrine. The Discovery Doctrine was the foundational document. She was out of Canada. That's where he was at. Now, if you go back and look at the video, she was not by herself. There was other tribal mothers there with her to give her a support system because they wasn't going to let her go out there alone. They all wanted to tell her, but it was Sipico's job, which was her name was Sipico. But she was the one who put the public notice on the Pope that she tell you the chiefs across the land been selected.
She called it.
Right. Mm-hmm. And she told him that we was no longer honoring anything that was not the great law. Right? So we know that the Canadian tribal mothers is on board because they said it.
I see. Man, if y'all have it, cash up this guy because he spends a lot of time, put a lot of work in, man. Show some love to the chief, man. Also, let's send prayers out to young elder, man. He been in the hospital the last couple of days. Let's send a prayer out for young elder as well.
I haven't been able to get in touch with him, so I can't tell you how he doing or anything.
Yeah, just want to make sure he all right, man. I called him a couple days ago. He told me he was in the hospital, and I ain't heard from him since. So I just hope he bouncing all the way back, man. Oh, boom. We about to get out here, Chief. I'm about to let you go, man. We got about an hour and a half. What do you got coming up next? Anything coming?
He mentioned Chief Mama Bear. Chief Mama Bear got a video on YouTube where she's talking about some of the collateral damage we suffered while fighting this war, and that we had to get this stuff cleaned up because we got to prepare for 7 generations.
I see.
She was giving us what's called an indicator card, and when you playing cards, if you know what I'm talking about, if I want you to play back, I give you an indicator card. Chief Mama Bear gave us an indicator card of what we need to do once we get back in power. Right? Because she mentioned about all of the issues that we had as a result of the problem that we needed to deal with. Just put it in the public domain.
Sure.
When you listen to it, some of y'all, it's going to sound like she directly talking to you. That's because your ancestors is using her as a voice box. That's all.
I see. 274. That's how many people we got in here tonight, man. Hit that like button. Oh, big old 274. Hit that like button, man. Share, subscribe, tell a friend, all that good stuff. Support the Chief. His cash app.
Good number.
What's that, Chief?
That's a good number.
Yeah, it is. Man, I appreciate you, Chief, for tapping in with us tonight, man. I've been working hard overtime this week, so I appreciate you tapping in with us and touching on those things, especially that birthright citizenship. That just that warmed my heart when I saw that. I was like, yeah, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out the land, though.
They still arguing it though. But they gave us the impression that it was over with, but they still arguing it in real time. But they already know what the outcome's gonna be.
Yeah, man, they can't tell Trump nothing else. Trump went there himself and sitting there. They can't tell him nothing else. He's been doing everything else. If they ain't locked him up for all the weird shit he did, I know they ain't about to step against him for that right there. So if nothing else, let's light some candles and hope, you know what I'm saying, manifest that work out, especially on this full moon energy. Let's manifest that works out because there's a lot of disrespectful people on this land that need to get checked. So, man,
when they give it all back, all of them people that was cocky gonna be deflated. Remember what I'm telling you? All them people that had their chests out talking about who we wasn't and all that, they gonna all be deflated. What they call it in the Rosses.
Your sound went out, Chief.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Like all them people got their chest sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
Swear me down, we don't know what we talking about. Trying to tell us who we is better than us knowing who we is. And they not us. All the interlopers, all of everybody that was hating. When the switch happened and they see who was the one telling the truth the whole time, they gonna be deflated. All their haughtiness is gonna be released from their chest, and they gonna be humbled on a level that you ain't never seen nobody humble before.
He said they're gonna watch us eat at the table or something like that, right? They're gonna sit down the
They gonna be humble. Now remember, they arrogant and cocky with their bullshit right now. But when the truth come out and these people tell you who's who and what's what, and then they sitting there with their mouth hung open, talking about, you mean he was right the whole time? They was telling the truth.
They know it. These are agents. They know the truth. They there to confuse everybody, distract everybody. They know the truth. At this point,
and all they gas, like all they fight gonna be gone. They were so sure they was right that you was wrong.
At this point, it's so many crazy people and slow people out here in this world, man. They don't even half-ass do no research. The people did the research for them and they still don't believe it. So that just leads me to believe they non-playable characters and we're gonna handle them accordingly. But
all 9 player characters is going to be either all the way back online or knocked out the game.
I see.
Right? They'll get turned off where they at. That means some of these gangsters been hanging out with 9 player characters thinking they solid. And they were just a program.
Program the whole time. Man. You got any other shows coming up anytime soon, Chief?
I got Brother Rich Patreon Tuesday. And I got Empress Sunday for the ceremony.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We most definitely gonna be tapping in what you got. Man, I appreciate you so much for even tapping in with me tonight. Like always, I know we talk on the phone all the time, but man, it's always great to have you on the show. You know what I'm saying? The tribe love you and everything else. Please give us a like, a share, you know what I'm saying? Spread the word. You got any last words for us, Chief?
Oh no, man, I did enough talking for today.
Man, you gave him a lot of information. Like you said, a lot of stuff you doing rhetorical. They said Ice Cube, laugh now, cry later. That's a real thing now. That's a real thing. And I appreciate you again, Chief. We about to get out of here. Huh?
That's all the time, all the time.
Man, let me put your cash app up one more time, man. Let me see. Oh. Wow. Get these last comments about it here. Much love, Chief. Everybody saying much love. Much love to you, too, Goddess Bay. Gratitude for the info, Chief. I want to get all these comments because I know a lot of these people, they came just for you to support you, so I want to make sure we get them all out. Chief Windsor,
Canada.
I'll say. You getting love from all around the world. I want everyone deported so that we can heal in unison before we think about letting outsiders back in. Hey, we need him on the committee.
If you need to deport somebody to heal, you got other problems. Serious.
I see. No, I get what he's saying though, because it's some people that just talk so reckless online. And one dude said he was gonna get the Mexican mafia on me because I was posting about the OMEC. It's a whole lot of stuff out here that we do need straightening.
As soon as they look at you, they're gonna say, "What you mean? He's one of them."
And that's the crazy part.
Look, they got treaties with West Coast tribes. Some of the treaties just ain't activated yet because they ain't got to go from the top.
I'm saying
they ain't with their shenanigans like that no more. Look, the father of the Latin Kings, I forgot his name, Gino. Man, he love Angel Bay.
Stop.
Man, he crazy about Jeff.
Back in the day, that's why it's so weird now. Things used to be so different back in the day. Now everybody, I don't know what they got going on now.
Well, that's because we was being ravaged by the government. The government was a secret military that was operating in the open. Everything that they was doing, the whole power was done in secret. But they openly told us a different purpose for their presence.
I see.
They was here to serve and protect, right? They was here to serve the crown and protect crown interests. You have nothing to do. Yeah, shit to do with us.
Man, appreciate you again, God. Boom, that's gonna be the last one. Man, I appreciate you again, God. Like for real. We're gonna go and get out of here, man. And I'll tap in with you. I'll hit you up sometime tomorrow. And man, look forward to your next coming up shows too, God.
All right.
Man, peace to the guys.
Yeah, peace.
Every rap is intentional. A reminder that we are all connected, from the cosmos to the core. Welcome back, family, to the frequency.
Here, we honor the stone people, the record keepers, ancient memory.
Tonight, we listen to our elders, the wise women, the seers,